Good evening, my friends. This is now the third edition of our regular news report, where we will present global news for all to hear. We've definitely got some good stories for you tonight, folks, so sit back, relax, and we'll have the news to you in a timely manner. First off, the Free City of Cyntharia and the Holy State of Akanti have agreed upon a formal alliance in which the two countries vow to support each other in times of need. Cyntharia commented on possibly adopting the Akanti religion, but no further information thereof has been publicly disclosed. The UODR has elected its first leader. Nuraz Serbiland was elected by the Ilshuksti Transitional Council as the president of the executive body of the UODR. Serbiland, in a press conference occurring very soon after his election, insisted that the case regarding Klakovia must be dropped. He claimed that the current evidence pointed more towards the actions of one person acting independently, rather than under the orders of a political entity. The declaration of war against Klakovia was retracted, and Serbiland clarified that the UODR would seek no further confrontation with Klakovia. And now, our biggest story, the turmoil over the Ramdal estate. The Ramdal estate, more commonly known as Ramdal Ranch, was a community of ranchers working independently of any organization. The UODR, upon claiming that the ranchers were practicing slavery, decided to invade the ranch one fateful afternoon. They allowed the ranchers a warning before embarking, but were ultimately met with no response. ANOM also decided to take a part in this conflict on the side of the UODR, lending a few volunteers for the sake of putting their, quote, differences aside in order to make the lives of others better, end quote. There were some delays, but the UODR eventually managed to place troops within the ranch, occupying the area with little to no resistance. Unknown to the UODR, the Holy State of Akanti was also planning on claiming the region. Shortly before the UODR had occupied the area, members of the Holy State had allegedly placed signs and even erected a shrine. As the UODR moved in, these signs, along with the shrine, were destroyed. Upon hearing word of this, the headman and the holyman both declared a war against the UODR, DRF, and ANOM. In this declaration, they called upon their newly signed allies, the Free City of Cyntharia. The Free City accepted and joined the conflict on the Akanti side. Though a conflict had not officially occurred yet, it was clear that tensions were building. In response to the Free City providing aid to the Holy State, the UODR, ANOM, and a previously unknown, undocumented group called the Montovich Volunteers Guard formed a loose alliance which was to be known as the Freedom Axis. The Freedom Axis claimed that the Holy State and the Free City were, quote, harboring theocratic, authoritarian, monarchist, and imperialist forces, end quote, within the confines of Ramdal Ranch. After this, the Freedom Axis and the Holy State clashed in the plains of Ramdal Ranch. Much of the buildings in the area were burned during the conflict, and there was fierce fighting taking place throughout. Cyntharia and the Holy State claimed victory over this conflict, having pushed the Freedom Axis to a ceasefire line on a nearby river. The Freedom Axis never confirmed or denied the victory of Cyntharia and the Holy State. During this conflict, the city of Slapanshire decided to declare independence due to what was only described as frustrations. No further reasons or elaborations were given thereof. After the conflict, Klakovia announced that it was returning to the public as it had entered a short period of isolation to gather resources. The Free City proposed an alliance to Klakovia, and Klakovia accepted. The Republic of New Montalvo, after having heard of the incident at Ramdal Ranch, expressed disappointment in the issue to the international community. They claimed that the lives lost at Ramdal Ranch were unnecessary and that the conflict was ultimately a waste. Shortly after news reached the citizens of Dolzogorod of the razing of Ramdal Ranch, an extreme wave of unrest flooded the UODR. A mob beat President Nuraz Serbiland along with his cabinet to death, and they were all subsequently cast from a rooftop, signaling the collapse of the UODR. Groups of clashing intents and ideologies soon took to the streets to try and take control of the city, but none have prevailed. Dolzogorod was soon declared no man's land by its inhabitants. Montalvo soon sent troops to stabilize the region, and a wall was quickly built in order to establish a safe sector of the city for the Republic to operate within. The safe side was dubbed the Liberty Sector, while the rest of the city continued to be called no man's land. Montalvo enforced a background check policy on the crossing point between the two sides, requiring entrants to comply with Montalvo's policies. After a short interview, a member of the local guarding force mentioned that he wished to protect these people and their freedom at any cost. The Republic relayed an invitation to work with other nations to stabilize the region, and the Free City soon accepted. Syntheria's sector has not been clearly outlined, but they claim to be providing accommodation and protection to those living within no man's land. In response to the occupation of Dol Sagharad, a movement calling itself the Neo-Luddite movement has formed. The Neo-Luddites see construction of large buildings and industrialization as a whole as harmful to the ecosystem and will work to slow both of these things down. The movement is anarchist and expressed wishes of direct action and change through peaceful means. ANOM has expressed support for the Neo-Luddites. Montalvo has outlined a short list of goals, mainly consisting of working with locals in order to establish an independent democratic society within Dol Sagharad. The local citizens movement, a commission representing citizens of Dol Sagharad, is open to cooperate with Montalvo in rebuilding Dol Sagharad and establishing a democratic government. Syntheria wishes to participate in these talks as well. As for now, the future of Dol Sagharad remains unclear. Though people are working together, tensions in the city are still high after the deposing of the UODR, and the various factions within No Man's Land are at a fragile standoff. The newly formed Empire of Arlington announced their formation, but have yet to make any official diplomatic moves. Furthermore, no one knows what the Empire of Arlington really is. And before we go, we have one more story. This one is a bit more personal than usual, but we hope you'll hear us out. Recently, we ran out of funding to continue operating independently. In order to continue, we accepted funding from the New Republic of Montalvo. Thanks to them, we are able to continue delivering news to our viewers. We found it necessary to disclose this to all of our viewers so that they may stay informed. By no means does this indicate that we will exaggerate, understate, fabricate, or deny the facts. Our mission is still one of telling the objective truth. That was certainly quite a long episode, but we hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Tune in next time to hear more about these stories as they evolve. If you have any submissions for next time, be sure to contact the station. We wish you a safe evening from wherever you may be listening. Goodbye.